Okay, guys, so thank you so much for being here with me during this day. And first of all, dzień dobry, and I live in Poland in 2019. And sorry, nie mów po polsku, but I just know some words like let me remember another word in Polish. Pół kilo, yeah, when I need to go to the supermarket, you know, pół kilo, when I need to request something in the supermarket. But anyway, so let me introduce myself. I'm Filipi Pires. I've been working as a principal security engineer at Talkdesk now. It's a company from Portugal. And this company is responsible to provide some contact center as a service. And I am security research at Senha Segura. It's a Brazilian company, but they have many customers around the world, and they were responsible. They're responsible to provide some PAN solutions, privileged access management. But my job there is to work exclusively with a research, right? And I'm a security advocate from this awesome project called Hack is Not a Crime. By the way, I have here some information about that. So the idea in this project is to explain more about the hacking concept, right? Because for our perspective, hacking, it's really not a crime. For example, if you think about the lawyer, for example, lawyer, it's a criminal lawyer or not criminal lawyer. Of course, they can, you know, work with a criminal guy, but not this way, right? So it's a lawyer, not a criminal lawyer or a bad guy or a good guy, right? In the hacking, it's a concept, it's a mindset. When you see some applications or, you know, hardware or another thing, and you can use your creative mind. That's the idea of this project. And I'm a contributor of the Red Team Village. It's a community very bigger at the US. And I'm a very active participant there, and, you know, a speaker and so on and so on. And I'm part of the coordinate team of the DEFCON groups here in São Paulo. I'm talking from Brazil now here in my small office here in my balcony, as you can see, and because it's in pandemic, right? And here, this is my website. If you'd like to see some informations, right, about me, if you don't like to see it, no worries about that. I'm going to be a friend, right? So here we can find some presentations about me, some conferences, right? And in Portuguese and Spanish, in English, of course, and some articles that have been published, right? And okay, so let me explain more about our topic today. So first of all, I'd like to explain more about this this idea about the developer software, the secure development software, right? Because the point here is all those threads is related to some software, right? So of course we have some personal exploitation, for example, when you need to go to the company in person and you try to explore, or using some, you know, social engineering to explore some guys in a person. But the idea, usually, when you talk about the threat, is related to a software attacks or, you know, intellectual property theft or something related to this, right? And today we're gonna talk about this topic. First of all, about the RSAC, it's an open source tool maintaining from the Zup Innovation. It's my previous company, by the way, but it's a open source product. But the point is, first of all, we need to understand about this different concept, right? About what is exactly the difference. I'm going to the documentations here, and I'm clicking here in glossary, just to explain more about some concepts. Important thing just to clarify to all the attendees, right? So first of all, what is SAST? Is a statistical application security test, right? So when you perform some analysis in your code before to publish this code, right? So when you develop in this code, when you are in the life cycle of the development, you need to have some solutions related to the SAST or SCA or something related to this, right? On the other hand, you have the DAST and dynamic application security test. When you publish this application, then you have some URL, and you can perform this scanning this URL to understand if this code already published, of course, is vulnerable or not, right? And you have YAST, it's another kind of, you know, analysis. when you talk about the software, is interactive application security testing. When you combine these two statistics, right? So what should be the best, Filipi? It depends, right? So my recommendation to you is to use both of them, right? You need to understand about your SDLC, your software development life cycle. It's pretty important to understand that, because when you see all those steps, when you have the developer environment, you have the QA, the quality assurance steps, for example, and you have the production, you need to understand the software development life cycle, and you know where exactly the place when you put the exactly solution you can apply, right? So here is some concepts. Another point here about the concept is about the vulnerabilities, how the RSAC works, right? And they works with 6 types of the security breaches. The first is a critical, as you can imagine, right? So high, medium, low, info. It means just an information, and I know because probably the engine don't know exactly what is the results. Other information important, it's about the false positive, because some cases the vulnerability is a false positive, but you need to understand about your environment to be clear if this code is false positive or not, right? In another hand, you have here the accept risk, when you know about the code and you can decide if this risk is accept or not. Okay, just to clarify the concept. And let's see how this works exactly, these tools. First of all, clicking CLI and overview, just to explain more about of course, then I need to explain about what is exactly RSAC, right? So here, this explanation, it's open source framework. The idea is to identify, to be an identification and vulnerabilities. The idea here is it's from my perspective, it's pretty cool because you can work with different languages and the tools. Because when you look into the OWASP, for example, in the SAST tools about the OWASP, and by the way, RSAC is there, you have some limitations about the programming language. For example, some tools works with C#, and others about Java, another Kotlin, another Python. But if it's possible, you put all those tools in the same, or all those programming languages in the same tools, it should be nice, right? And here, as you can see, you have a C#, Java, Kotlin, Python, GoLang, Terraform, and you have, by the way, here the Kubernetes, and it's a tool that you can use. It's pretty cool, and that's how you can work with RSAC, right? It's a pretty simple. That performance statistical code and analysis to identify security flows, right? And let me return here to the documentations. And one important information is in the end of this documentations. And by the way, it's pretty nice, right? And you can use it locally, as I will running now here in a CLI, and you can use it in a CI/CD pipeline. I mean, you can put in this RSAC in your pipeline, and you can use it as IDE extensions, right? So if you are a developer, or if you know your developer team, you can apply this in your developer environment, okay? And let's see here another point, and I think it's okay. So let's go to the CLI. Let me click in installation process. It's pretty simple. I will using locally now here. I will copy here in my virtual machine. I will copy this. Let's check if my user has a permission. No, they don't have permission, right? So they need to have the good privilege. Okay, so it's pretty simple. This is the curl to request the binary, and after that I install, and as you can see, I move it to the local bin /RSAC. Why? Because now I can set here the RSAC, and I can set the #h to see. Let's check if you can see here. Okay, it's good. I'm seeing here another monitoring the presentation if it's good to see. Okay, so here you can use in the CLI, you can see how can you use this. You can set the flags or comment, right? So here you can see the comments and the flags below. It's pretty simple to use. We can use in the start to what? To start the RSAC CLI. Or if you'd like to see the version or generate some configurations, but in our presentation, just to use in the start, okay? So let's check RSAC start. Here, RSAC start, and after that, because I will start with RSAC, click and the /h again to see what? To see the flags or parameters. You can what you prefer to set, right? So here, as you can see, -A, it's authorization string, and it means the authorization token for the RSAC API. If you'd like to send all those vulnerabilities and this code, for example, for some manager, and not some manager, for the RSAC manager, okay? And you can check here others. Of course, you have more than one. And maybe if you are think about, for example, about the Sonar Cube, it's a pretty nice tools, and as a tool like a code quality, right? And my point here is the Sonar Cube was created with the focus in the code quality, right? But they have now some features with the security. And RSAC, it's open source, it's a complement of the solution. It's pretty nice. Why? Because you can set here the -O, right, to set some format JSON with the Sonar Cube that you can import. You can send it to your Sonar Cube, and you have the same solutions. And you can work with both of them, right? So because RSAC was created by the security team from Zup Innovation. It's a Brazilian company, by the way. And this company is responsible to maintain this project. It's pretty nice. And I have the contact with the team if you'd like to send. By the way, I request to go to, if you like this project, you can go here in the community, right? You can click here in community, and you have here the forum of the zup.com.br, and you have here the English, and you can click here, and you can, make the questions, right? You can write something, and the team works a lot here. And on the other hand, you have here the GitHub. If you'd like to suggest some pull request, you can write here in, if my internet help me, and I can open here the RSAC page. And yes, you have here, you can request some pull requests, right? And you can improve this open source project, okay? So let's return here in our CLI. Okay, so I have here some codes vulnerable, like in GoLang and Java and Kotlin, Node.js and PHP and Python. And by the way, if you'd like to make the same test in your environment, not in your environment, but if you'd like to using this in your virtual machine, you can click here in my GitHub, Filipi86. You can click here in our RSAC demo, and you can check here the same code, right? And this is that I am using. If you'd like to see another in the RSAC here page in the GitHub, by the way, we have here some example, as you can see here, examples. You can click here, and you have more than one vulnerable codes too, right? And you can check, you can, like using like a DM or something like that, okay? So let me return here. I have this code. I'm using now the RSAC. It's pretty simple. I just set in here the RSAC start, remember that. And if I don't set any other parameters and click enter, take a look what happened. Of course, I need two permissions, but let me click, okay. Using the some permissions. RSAC dash start, and I click enter. Take a look at this. They set the exactly folder that I'm works, right? In this case, it's RSAC demo. Take a look at this. Exactly path that I'm working. If you would like to set another directory, I click enter now. I just click to dash H-P equals double quote, and I can set the exactly the directory that I can scan, right? Perform the scan. But I am showing now during the presentations, okay? So it's pretty simple. Now I'm running the scan in these folders. As you can see, this is the main folder, right? And if you remember that I'm showing here, you can check, I have more than one folder vulnerable in GoLang, Java, Kotlin, Node.js, and whatever, okay? And let's continue to wait. I have some question. Is RSAC able to find hard-coded encrypted passwords in the code? Yes, Hubert, I don't know if this pronounced correct, but yes, it's possible. Is one of these features of the RSAC, not just only the code vulnerable, but they can find if have some hard-coded password or AWS key, for example, in the code. I have these informations, by the way, here in the documentations. I don't remember exactly where is the place. Let me check here. 3 ways that RSAC works. Let me check here. Overview and RSAC, how this works here. It should be in the end of this. Here. RSAC performs 3 types of the analysis to identify if there are any security flaws. First is a SAST, as I mentioned, and the second is leaks. The leaks checks the source code for a possible leaks of credentials, private keys, and hard-coded password, as you're asking me. Okay, and dependency check, it's pretty nice. You analyze, you can analyze the project, right? Dependency to check vulnerable in a third-party libraries like a SCA. It's a similar feature, okay? And the answer is yes. Okay, so let's return here in our scanning. And of course, it's usually the time it's a 30 or 40 second, but I am doing the streaming in the similar, you know, I'm doing the streaming from the conference. I'm seeing another monitoring for my left side here, my left side in the monitor, seeing the streaming, and I am executing, I'm scanning in the same time. So 3 different execution in the same machine, okay? And I'm using the virtual machine on another point, okay? So let's hit turn here the log about the result, actually, about the RSAC. Let me hit turn here in the beginning, okay? So as you can check here, 2 minutes, by the way, 3 minutes, I think 2 minutes and a half, okay? So as you can see here, take a look at the questions about the password, okay? So here you can see the leaks is a critical, and you can see the safe severity, the line, the column, and the security tools. It's RSAC engine. Take a look at this. For my opinion, from my perspective, it's pretty nice because you can work with more than one engine inside the RSAC, okay? And here, as you can see, security tool, and I will show you another different engine inside of this project, okay? The file exactly that you can find the vulnerability, as you can see here, right? So in this case, that you can have here the code, it's hard-coded password, as you can see. And take a look, for example, if you are a security guy, probably you know what that means, CWE, right? So the common weakness enumeration. But if you don't know, if you don't know about the security, and if you don't like exactly what it is, you can check, you can click here the information, and you can improve your knowledge in security stuff, okay? So if you click here, take a look at this, the use of hard-coded credentials. So here the description, the standard description, and another point is, as I mentioned, you can improve your knowledge in security stuff, okay? You can check here, you can read about the others child vulnerabilities related to this main vulnerability. As you can see here, it's not a definition from the Filipi, okay? It's from I3, okay? It's from CWE. And it's a pretty cool research to gain the knowledge, okay? So all those information you can check here in the results. Let's check another. In a Java is the same case. In this case, as you can see, take a look at this, the director and the exactly folder here, app.java. Okay, so it's you have the they will check all those folders inside the main project. Okay, so the security tools is RSAC engine. Here I would like to show you. Take a look at this Python. The severity is medium. Security tools is a bandit. It's not RSAC engine. It's a bandit. It's another engine. Right, so you have more than one engine inside of the same code. From my perspective, it's pretty nice. Here you can check another security tool. It's a GoLang. It's another engine inside of this. Okay, and another question from Maggie is what the difference between RSAC and Fortify? It's a good question. I don't know. I don't work with a Fortify, by the way, and I don't have more knowledge with a Fortify. But from my perspective, when the RSAC it was created, basically it's because there's some limitations of the programming language and tools about the other tools, right? For example, maybe Fortify doesn't work with a specific programming language. Okay, maybe we can check what the exactly language is. Probably they works with Java or Go, Python, it's the very known tools. But for example, I don't know, I'm supposing, okay? For example, works with a Ruby or Elixir, you know, you need to check exactly about that program language and tools like a Kubernetes, as I mentioned, okay, Terraform or whatever. Okay, so as you can see here, we have many different logs and different tools. From my perspective, it was pretty nice. So here, take a look at this, the possible hard-coded password. They can inform you, and you can have these informations in your CLI, as you can see here. And the total 10 possible vulnerabilities were found. We classified them 1 critical, 2 highs, 3 medium, and 4 low, right? So this is the first point. Another point is, if you have, for example, if you are a developer and you work with some IDE, for example, like a VS Code, you can click here in extension. You can set the RSAC here, click enter, and you have here, you can click and you can install in your VS Code. Take a look at this, and now it's here. And after that, you can click and run, and hold on, RSAC starting to analyze in your code, as you can see here below. And they are working in this meantime, they are performing the scanning in your code. In this case, in this code, and my mainly code here, okay? So they are works in the VS Code, okay? And because you can imagine, in this case, for example, it is in a CLI, okay? So you can check your code. And you can improve, by the way, if you see here some parameters, or for example, like in this case, about the password, for example, it's you know, hard-coded password. I need to change this in my code. So you can go there, for example, in the Python here, and clicking, for example, here, you can check, okay, the password, because in the clear text, the secret is in the clear text, okay? And you can change this, and after that, you can perform again and see the results, okay? So it's pretty nice because you have the information here in a CLI. But from my perspective, if you work with IDE, it's pretty cool because you have the information in your hand. You work with IDE to help you, like if you are a programmer, of course, or developer, right? And you have here more than one way to see the information, okay? So let's waiting about the time to finalize this scanning. And after that, I will show you just a last one, and I will finish the presentation about what is possible to use the RSAC here in your CLI, not your CLI, sorry, in your pipeline, as I will show you here, installations. So first of all, I'm installing using in my local environment. You can use in the Windows platform, for example. So here's some manual installations. If you do like to use in my image Docker, you can run it here. And I will show you after this scanning how you can use how you can improve your pipeline, how you can use in here in the GitHub Actions or AWS Code Build, and you can use it as your SQL CI, for example, or Jenkins or Azure DevOps pipeline or GitLab CI/CD, right? So here's some examples that you can use in your pipeline. I will show you here in my GitHub Actions, by the way. Okay, let me return here. If ever I have the results, it's running yet. Or it's still running actually. And but I will explain to gain the time. Okay, it's pretty simple. As you can see here, I will generate a file inside of my GitHub Actions. I will create a job right in my pipeline. And as you can see here, I don't know if it's small, but let me show you better here. It's just a simple run, right? I will perform the curl again, as you can see, right? And I will install the bash, the binary, and I will call the RSAC start, and I set -p, as I mentioned about the path. Okay, I will put here the slash. It's the main director that we will execute, and after that I will set -e. Okay, why? Because I will set the flag true, because if they find some vulnerability, they can broke the pipeline, okay? In this case, if they receive some error 1, in this case, because they found some vulnerability, I can broke my pipeline and I can return to developer, and I can made some adjustment in the code, okay? So let me return here, it's running, it's okay, let's check, it's okay, let's return here in the RSAC. Where is the RSAC here? RSAC. Take a look at this, the results, as you can see here. So you can click here and leaks. You can put the mouse above the line, as you can see here, the informations about the vulnerability, right? So in this case, it's a leak, as I mentioned. You have here the hash reference about this log. The Python, it's another engine from the same vulnerability in this case, because you can execute some execution command, and take a look this below here in the JavaScript. It's another vulnerability. It's if you click here, and as you can see here, it's a different reference. As you can see, it's another CWE difference. It's a 78 here, and if you see here, you can check here. It's the CWE 7980 is another reference, because obviously it's a different vulnerability, right? So that's my point here. And you can see here the warning in this case, for example, you have here the explanation about use a weak cryptography primitive. So it's a suggestion to change, okay? And you can find here the all code vulnerable actually in the exactly code in an ID. From my perspective, it's pretty nice, okay? And let me return here in the code, and I will execute this to finish my presentation. And I will click here in my actions. As you can see, I don't have any actions to running now, and I need to set some workflow in my GitHub actions. And I will create here the folder in my GitHub. I will create here the RSAC.yml. I need to create this file here first. Let me close here. I will simple like this. I will copy this reference here in the installation process, as I mentioned. I will copy this. It's here. I will paste here. And again, this is I'm setting the job here in my GitHub actions. I will requesting a curl. I will set in the command, and if I find some vulnerability that we have 10 vulnerabilities here, and after that, I will break my pipeline, okay? So it's pretty simple. Let me return here in my, so I need to add this new file in my GitHub, okay? I will commit this. RSAC demo, very creative. Okay, I have here the new folder and the logs, right? And push, right? So push and origin. In my case, I'm using master. Okay. I set my password because I use two-factor authorization. And after that, I will move this document to my environment. Let's check here in my actions here. Let me click here in action again and take a look at this. I'm running the RSAC demo in my pipeline now. I'm executing my actions to see about the jobs executing, as you can see here, right? And I'm setting the virtual environment, and I'm checking the code, as you can see, and running RSAC. And as you can see, the log, it's, and almost the same that I'm showing you in the CLI, and as it works, okay? Let me check here. Okay, they will using here in this path, in this directory, okay? Running the job. Let's check here, some information. They are running in the pipeline. So you can integrate this with your pipeline. You can, develop something and take a look at this running RSAC security. Here's the command again, as I mentioned, right? So the installation process. I don't know if it's small, but let me show you. Okay. I think it's better. No, not too much. So here the installation process, the set of the execution of the RSAC, okay, setting. download the binary, all those steps, okay? And the log, and as you can see here, the error, the same log, the same information, as you can see here. The scanning, the leaks, all those information have here. And at the end, as you can see, all those logs, and take a look at this, the process. So error, process completed, exit code 1. Why? Because we found a vulnerability. So because of this, I set -a equals double quote true. I can't go to the productions of the application can go to the productions, okay? So here, as you can see, we have the information. And by the way, I think, yes. And by the way, if you see here, I don't know if you can see, but I received here the information of my cell phone about the RSAC, about the error. Okay, so yes, that is it. That is it. I finished my presentation. Of course, we have here another possibility. If you click here on web applications, an overview, I don't have a time to explain more about that. I think I passed at the time. And you can install in your environment, you can have the manager to manage the vulnerabilities. For example, you can find the different vulnerabilities by developer, or by language, by project. And it's a pretty nice manager. I fully recommend you install, you prove, you can improve your developer team, and after that, right? So that's my point here to you. Okay, I don't know if you have any questions, and thank you so much for this time, and sorry for this time. I don't know if I passed the time, but sorry for that.